Renewable Energy Practices Collaboration Workshop. We're going to give people a moment to come on, but you're in the right place and we're getting ready for a really good 90 minutes. We have about 90 people who have registered for the workshop. There may be some latecomers, and we're hoping that everybody around the world has the connectivity to be able to get in. I know that's a factor and a challenge for some people. If you would like to start off using the chat to introduce yourselves, we'd be delighted to see who's coming online and where you're from. We'll give people another minute. People who've just joined us now, you're very welcome to the Women, Faith and Climate Network collaboration workshop on renewable energy. We're looking forward to a very exciting 90 minutes. And we invite you to share information about who you are, to introduce yourselves using the chat. I see a note from Juanita. I know you've written to ask for a conversation, Juanita. Hi, I have seen that. I'll get back to you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
I see Lorna has come on, another member of the steering group for the Women, Faith and Climate Network. Great. Okay, we're going to get started because I know people will be coming in as they are able. But we have so much to cover today. I treasure every minute of the time that we have. I'm Jean Duff. I am serving as the interim coordinator for the Women, Faith and Climate Network. This meeting is being recorded so that it can be archived and can be shared with all of the folks who would like to be on but aren't able to attend in person. I'd like to take the opportunity of introducing Florine de Wolf, who is supporting this collaboration workshop, and without whom none of this would work. So thank you so much, Florine, for being with us. I see that you are all using the chat for introductions, and what an amazing group of people from all over the world are joining us. This is very, very exciting. As many of you know, the Women, Faith and Climate Network is a new, groundbreaking initiative which brings together women of faith for a sustainable world. The new network engages women of faith networks from diverse faiths, Hindu, Muslim, Christian, Baha'i, Buddhist, etc., indigenous, and so on, from around the world. Our aim is to scale up the powerful reach and influence of women of diverse faiths who are already working in so many different ways on climate to go further and faster towards achieving climate goals. The network supports what we call radical collaboration among members as the way or a way to scale up action quickly. Building on this call for scaling climate action through radical collaboration, which was enunciated by the leaders of Women of Faith networks at our meeting last October in Rome, the goal of these collaboration workshops, and this is the third in a series of workshops, is to provide a platform for our members and members of their networks to share good practice on specific climate action areas and to brainstorm ways together to scale up through adaptation and radical collaboration. In other workshops, the possibility of regional in-person follow-on meetings has been raised. All kinds of one-to-one connections have been established, and plans for one-to-one meetings, as well as replicating these thematic workshops in other regions. Our format today is 3 parts. We have 90 minutes, as you know. First, we have 3 amazing speakers, all of whom are members of the Women, Faith and Climate Network, who will present good practices, highlighting opportunities to scale up specific climate action in the renewable energy thematic area through collaboration. Then Florine is going to help us go into breakout rooms, where we'll spend about 30 minutes discussing what we've heard, including the good practices in renewable energy that you in your own organizations would bring to the table, and brainstorm ways of scaling up our activity urgently through collaboration. Florine will then tell us to stop talking, which will be very hard, and will bring us back to the whole group, to the plenary session, where Fiza will lead us in a discussion of specific next steps to scale up adaptation and collaboration. So that's the plan, and we will be chock-a-block for our 90 minutes. It's going to fly by. As I said, we have 3 exceptional speakers, all of whom are experts in various aspects of renewable energy. And here they are, Fiza and Aneta and Reema. I will introduce them one by one as they speak, and I'm going to start with Fiza Farhan, who is the CEO of Aura Global Development Advisors. She is a leading expert on women's empowerment, on climate change, and sustainable development. She advises governments, private sector, and development organizations in creating the business case at the nexus of women's empowerment and climate change. She's launched and supported multiple projects, bringing the climate and women nexus to action in Pakistan and around the world. Previously, Fiza was the co-founder and CEO of Bush Foundation and Bush Energy Private Limited. For more than a decade, working on the ground as a practitioner, launching innovative and impactful projects, keeping women at the forefront of the renewable energy transition, and not just for rural off-grid villages, but also in the boardrooms. Fiza is a member of the UN Secretary General's high-level panel on women's economic empowerment and is our first speaker today. Fiza, the floor is yours.
Hey, thank you so much, Jean. Thank you. Absolutely very, very delighted to be here. What a fun audience. I'm just seeing the chat box, and welcome to everybody who's joining us from all over the world. And as Jean said, what a fun and diverse audience. And I can't wait to do our chats more in detail in the breakout rooms. So guys, in the interest of time, I'm going to make this very quick because we want to hear more from you. We want to hear more about the work you guys are doing and how we can collaborate with this amazing audience and work together within ourselves. So as Jean mentioned, I have been working extensively as a practitioner, then as a policymaker and an advisor, bringing the nexus of women and climate change together. And with extensive experience in the renewable energy space, heading Pakistan's first renewable energy company, Bush Energy. Being a woman, the nexus was obvious, just by virtue of being the only woman in the energy sector in Pakistan at a point. And then later creating Women in Energy Networks, being the first woman on an energy company board in the Ministry of Energy's department, in fact, in the entire building. Not just on the board or in the room, but the entire building. It was obvious that we need to have women lead the transition on climate change and climate justice and the whole renewable energy transition. And with that same notion, when we started working in Bush Foundation and we went to off-grid villages, and I tell this to people because they need to know that the nexus between climate change and women is natural. It's what makes sense. We actually went to those villages to create off-grid solutions, to provide access to energy to those thousands of villages that lived off-grid. The choice of having a woman at the forefront and of creating a woman-led energy enterprise was just simply a natural choice to make it a solid business case. Because when we created these women energy entrepreneurs, and I'm sure many of you will agree with me, and we have so many examples from South Asia and the region for these women-led energy enterprise, it just makes natural evolutionary sense. Because then we're not only impacting the energy access issue, we're impacting the education issue, we're impacting the health issue, we're impacting the economic empowerment issue. So it makes all the more sense holistically to create woman-led energy access solutions. And that's what we started doing. And then our projects became internationally certified best practices. And I'll quickly take you through those. And then as I kind of transitioned as becoming an advisor to the UN Secretary General, we started learning from the global projects that we're doing and working around the same lines of bringing women at the forefront of climate change. And just by virtue of having this nexus, they were becoming successful case studies. And the more we started picking on these collaborations and the more we started picking on these projects and connecting them with others, we saw how rapidly the acceleration happened for not just reaching out to more people who were without living without energy or living without access to energy, but creating opportunities for economic empowerment as well, especially for the women involved. So I'm going to quickly just take you through our projects, the ones that I personally launched in Pakistan, and which then became an internationally UN Habitat, UN Foundation certified best practices globally. And then I'll quickly share some other examples of work that is happening around in the region, from India to Sri Lanka. And of course, we have other fantastic speakers who will share their work, where you can clearly see how it is a business case. You know, coming from the private sector, I always believe in things that make a business case and that create tremendous impact and yet have to have a business case and a mutually value-added proposition for all stakeholders involved. And that's where a strong collaboration exists. But so I'll start off with the first slide, which is the lighting a million lives. Sorry, will I be controlling my slides myself, or you'll be doing that? Okay, I can't hear you. So we'll move to the next slide. How do I move to the next slide?
Florian, you're muted.
Yes.
And
Yes, sorry, I'm moving your slide, Fiza.
Okay, so can we move to the next slide, Florine, and start?
Is it not moving on your screen?
no.
Not on mine.
Because it is
No.
moving on mine.
Okay.
Wait, let me stop sharing and start sharing again.
Okay. So meanwhile,
Because
I'll just tell you guys about the project while we start. Okay, I think we're there. Perfect.
Good
So
now. Yep.
thank you very much, Florine. So yeah, so this was one of it's my most favorite project that we launched in Pakistan, which created tremendous impact in about, I don't know how we ended up at the last point at 746 villages. And it was a beautiful project because we went to these off-grid villages to provide them with access to energy. When we went to those villages, we realized that the way to make an economic enterprise sustainable here is to involve the women of the communities. And there was so much learning for us in these villages when we launched the Lighting a Million Lives project, because when we empowered the women to come at the forefront, to become our energy entrepreneurs, and we trained them by running this solar shop, which used to charge solar lanterns and sell them back in the communities, we were not just selling the product of energy, but we were empowering every household and all the women in the community. So this one energy entrepreneur, Roshna Bibi, would then sell energy to the entire community of 50 households. And with that, we not only ensured that there was access to energy to those households, but there was the economic empowerment aspect of it would automatically kind of checked off. And now that we had a woman-led energy enterprise, naturally the women started evolving on models for healthcare. You know, they would come to us and they would tell us that in the village we need more healthcare solutions. So can we collaborate with the medical clinic? We need more education solutions. So can we collaborate with local schools? And suddenly the whole development aspect of the project started increasing in itself, so much so that it got certified as an internationally certified best practice by the UN Foundation and the UN Habitat. The project was fairly simple. Florine, if you can move to the next slide. We called it Lighting a Million Lives, LAML, and please feel free to reach out to me separately after this call because we have very brief time right now. I'll be very happy to share details with you because based on the success of this project, I further authored this guidebook with Empower by UNEP for the Asia Pacific region with a 10-step guideline for any institution, any not-for-profit, any business looking to work in the communities for a woman-led energy enterprise. Because we had so many learnings, we had so many success stories, there was a very strong element of faith in these communities because as you all know, who are working in rural communities in their countries, without getting the religious leaders, without getting the religious communities on board, the faith-based communities on board, you cannot make a program successful in communities that are driven by faith. So we had to really crack the nut on how to, one, break the glass ceilings of getting the woman to step up in these communities at the forefront of the project and become energy entrepreneurs. Number two, create that right economic empowerment mix so that the men are also involved and the entire households get empowered. And three, include the religious leaders, the faith-based leaders, so that overall the project is accepted by the communities as something that is good for everyone, which it was. So with this, Lighting a Million Lives became a huge success, and where we trained the local rural women as energy entrepreneurs, or Roshna Bibis, as we used to call it. In Urdu, the language in Pakistan, we call light Roshni. So these were our light ladies or Roshna Bibis. Flori, next slide. And the project had tremendous impact. And again, after the call, even if anybody wants more details, I'd be very happy to share them with you. We ended up reaching about 30,000 plus households. 200,000 plus lives were impacted. The woman started making a regular income. We added additional components of health and education in the mix with these households, and obviously completely took them away from kerosene-driven conventional diesel-based fuel generators or other resources of generating energy. So this became a huge success story and then got replicated in many other regions. And I'll be very happy to share details with anybody else who would be interested in this project with me. Florian, can we go to the next slide, please?
And Fiza, just 2 minutes for wrapping up.
Yep. See, this time flies by too soon.
I know.
I know. So I'm just going to focus on the projects from Pakistan then, because I did kind of dig up case studies from other regions. But since we have such a diverse audience with all those different expertise, I'm sure I'd be happy to share these slides and these projects with you guys later. But one I want to clearly bring to the table is this Pepsi's Liter of Light, because what the success of the earlier development project did was that it really got the private sector activated, and it got the big private sector companies like Pepsi activated to look at these projects that work on the nexus of women and climate change. So with that, we got a lot of private sector companies to collaborate with us, like Pepsi, and we launched this project called the Pepsi's Liter of Light, by the way, for which Pepsi won a lot of global awards. And I think this is a very strong example of a solid collaboration with the private sector. We did this program in Pakistan. It became largely successful by getting Pepsi to collaborate with us in creating these light bottles, which we would create with LED lights, solar panels, and batteries, and then we will use them to charge and electrify completely off-grid villages. Pepsi ended up winning awards all over, and this impactful project really brought a lot of private sector eye-opening knowledge to the table, that if the private sector collaborates with us, we can really achieve the outreach and the scale we're looking to achieve. And after Pepsi, many other private sector partners also started stepping up, and that's why we started working more and more with the private sector, and hence create a very economic business case out of it, so that we can then really achieve the scale we want to achieve. So Pepsi's Liter of Light was one of the key success stories that we had after Lighting a Million Lives, followed by Florian, if you can go to the next slide. Yeah, and again, we ended up lighting about 40 plus off-grid villages here. 70,000 plus lives were provided with access to energy, and obviously with a key focus on women and girls being at the forefront of this entire energy transition. Now, guys, in the interest of time, I think I'll just skim through the other examples. Florian, if you can just help me take through the slides. I'm sure many people who are already here would be aware of the Grameen Shakti and the wonderful work Grameen Shakti is doing with the solar home systems and the biogas energy access programs that are running in Bangladesh. Followed by, Florian, you can just keep moving the slides. So I'm sure many of us, and I will be happy to talk about Grameen Shakti more in the breakout rooms, knowing how many people we have maybe here from Bangladesh. And then from India, we'll be hearing other examples as well. But I've really one particular program which I feel works on sustainable agriculture with women at the forefront is the Swam Shikshan Prayog program. Again, bringing women entrepreneurs as at the forefront as clean energy entrepreneurs, creating immense grassroots impact and reaching out to millions of people. The common denominator in all these programs was how they picked up on the women from the communities and trained them to becoming the lead energy entrepreneurs or the lead trainers or the leaders for these programs, which actually eventually became the success of the entire project. And that's why with the Empower program at UNEP right now, we have kind of made it into a manual, a guidebook. And whoever's interested in this guidebook, please reach out to me because I'll be very happy to share on how we can create such similar success stories anywhere in the world. I had many examples to share with you guys. I'm going to leave this now. Yes, I know, I know, Jean, I know. So I have this deck with me. Anybody who's interested in discussing this more, please feel free to reach out on LinkedIn. These conversations will keep flowing, and I'll be very happy to share more and more of these examples from my practical experience. But thank you, and look forward to discussing this further in the breakout rooms. Over to you, Jean.
There's so much there. Thank you very much. This is really rich. I know your slide deck will be available to participants. And if you'd like to put any links, please put your own link, personal link in the chat so people can get in touch with you directly. That would be great. Thank you so much. So now I'm going to turn to Aneta, Aneta Loge, who is with Brahma Kumaris. Aneta is a seasoned professional in sustainability, renewable energy, and spirituality. With international experience across Europe and Asia, she currently directs the Brahma Kumaris in Poland, promoting spiritual empowerment and sustainable living. Since 2011, she has coordinated research and development for the India One Solar Thermal Power Plant and led training initiatives in collaboration with UNDP, GEF, and India's Ministry of New and Renewable Energy. As the Brahma Kumaris' focal point at the UN Convention to Combat Desertification, she actively participates in global environmental forums, including UN conferences on climate change, biodiversity, desertification, and oceans, and advocating for policy grounded in sustainable lifestyles and spiritual values. Aneta, please speak to us.
Yes. Good morning, good afternoon. Thank you for having me here. And yes, in view of time, I would like to share the experiences from the Brahma Kumaris using the presentation. So let me see if I can share the presentation. Can you see it?
Not yet.
I think it should be fine now.
Now we can see it.
Okay. Okay. So this presentation will be actually about the women of faith leadership in renewable energy transition, as today we are focusing on this theme. So I would like to start with showing the different projects, just overview of different projects that have been initiated and executed by the Brahma Kumaris. So we have an experience of about 30 years, mostly in research and development in renewable energy, which is mostly solar energy. And throughout all this time, we have been collaborating with many different stakeholders, with local governments, with national government, with different UN bodies, with academia, with private sector, with scientists. So this was possible thanks to this collaboration. And as a faith-based organization, we have been recognized as a scientific and industrial research organization, which was quite an achievement. And right now, I think we are one of the largest institutional users of renewable energy in India. So I'm not going to go into details here, but I would like just to summarize the key application areas that we have in our organization as inspiration for everyone also to learn, to get whatever is available right now. So one of the main application is solar thermal application, where we can generate steam, and we use this steam for different applications again. One is the application for solar cooking. So we have developed different solar cook kitchen, and it was the first one that was developed in 1996 in our one of our campuses in Abu Road in Rajasthan. And there was also one of the biggest one. At that time, it was the largest one. I will come back to it. Now, our biggest R&D project was India One Solar Thermal Power Plant, where we can generate electricity from solar 24 hours a day, thanks to the very unique storage system that was developed by our engineers. And one of the main things that we do is sharing the knowledge that we have acquired. It's the capacity building. So everything what we do, basically we offer for free for anyone who is interested in any application like that. We have had a number of trainings under Awareness Camp Training Center, which was run together with UNDP, GEF, and Ministry of New and Renewable Energy. So whatever is there is free to come and learn, and we will be happy to support you for this institutional application of solar energy. We also have distributed quite many solar lanterns and home lighting systems and cooking boxes. Plus, also in many of our centers in India, we have like 9,000 centers, we have installed PV systems with batteries. So all this expertise, knowledge, experience is available for anyone who would like to learn from that. And now, very briefly, I would like to say about this leadership of women of faith, because really all these achievements were possible thanks to the leadership of our senior sisters. And when you look at these pictures, you may say, what these elderly sisters have to do with all these innovations, this research and development. But they are really the foundation, they are the backbone of everything what you have seen. They are the great inspiration and they are the greatest supporters. And Brahma Kumaris is an international NGO, but it was established in India in 1936. And since the beginning, actually at that time it was Pakistan, since the beginning the founder of our organization put women in front, which was very revolutionary at that time. Still even today it may be. And this was because of the innate qualities that women embody more, which are very important for transformative change. So things like compassion, like selfless service, like farsightedness, like inclusivity, and so many other things. So, for example, one of our senior sisters, Dadi Prakashmani, she used to say, God is the one who is doing everything through me. I am just an instrument. And this kind of attitude really creates a very open consciousness that allows really impossible to become possible. So here I just wanted really to mention some of the values that made all these developments happen. So it was the vision, which was really to keep everyone in the vision and in dedication to God, really to create or to contribute to creation of sustainable but also peaceful and happy world. Humility and newness. All our sisters, those senior sisters and those who are now following them, it's very important for all of us to go into the introspection, to go into the laboratory of our minds and to see what is there in the bottom, and then to emerge it and then use this newness for unlimited benefit. Respect and care, it's always about seeing the highest potential in everyone, and this is very powerful because it creates a lot of trust and it brings people on board. So then this transformative love comes into the force. All our daddies, they actually were winning the hearts of people, and that was the foundation of this radical, I would say, collaboration of all students of the Brahma Kumaris, but also from so many other organizations. Because as it is led by women, actually this organization is half-half, men and women, and we always work in consensus basis, and everyone is contributing the best they have on voluntary basis. And like our Daddy Janki, one of our leaders, used to say, when there is love in the heart, there is light in the mind, and then everything becomes easy. So this was really the foundation of what I would like to share now. So this will be some of the projects that we have on, again, institutional level. The picture on the left, it shows the first solar cooker for institutional application, which was constructed in 1996. It worked very well till last year when the pipes got corroded. So now we are changing it, and I will come back to it. And on the right side, you can see India One solar thermal power plant, which is, I think, still the only solar power plant in the world that can work 24 hours a day. I'll come back to it briefly. This is another project. It's also a solar kitchen. It's in our headquarters in Abu Road in Rajasthan, India. And this kitchen can cook 35,000 meals a day using the solar energy. So this was, at that time, in 1999, it was the first such a big system. And the Indian government even was inspired by that. And they created a special subsidy for this kind of solar thermal applications. And after that, many religious organizations, but also many companies, they replicated these systems for their needs. And India One Solar Thermal Power Plant, which is very close to my heart, I've spent there 10 years. And this is, again, research, development, and demonstration project to show that we can generate power using sun 24 hours a day. We have demonstrated it thanks to a very special storage system that we developed. It's 1 megawatt power, and it supplies the energy to our headquarters in, again, Abu Road. And this was really an example of collaboration between science and science. And you know, there were so many challenges. Today we will also speak about challenges. In the beginning, we didn't know about the technology, we didn't know about the finances, who will do what, but with pure intention, faith and courage and determination, it happened.
Aneta, just reminding you about time, about 1 minute to wrap up now, please. Thank you.
So this is the campus where soon it will become the first net zero campus, and we have very new solar induction cooking installed. And this is one of our newest project, which is biogas. So we are using all organic waste from all our campuses, where about 25,000 people can be accommodated, and we generate biogas from that. But also we generate pure fertilizer, organic fertilizer, which is also part of energy creation, and we use it for our farming. We use this natural fertilizer with the fertilizer of positive thoughts. We meditate on the soil, on the seeds, and on the crops. So just to finalize, really, I would like to leave you with these 3 words, which I think make impossible possible and which are the foundation for collaboration, which would be radical. It's care, share, and inspire. Care of yourself, take care of your energy, renew your energy by connecting with the source. Share your values, your energy, have this learning attitude, and inspire the collaboration, having the same common good in your heart. So I think I would leave you with this. I have video, but I think I will just we can share it on the website. Thank you.
Aneta, thanks so much. Well, combined with Fiza's presentation, I mean, the reach and scale of these undertakings are just so impressive. Aneta, I really appreciate, on behalf of all our participants here, your generous invitation to share your knowledge and to train folks who might be interested. So thank you so much. I hope you will put your personal contacts in the chat so that others may avail of contact with you directly. And could I remind all our participants, if you haven't already done so, to introduce yourself in the chat. We don't have time for one-to-one introductions, but I know everybody would like to know who else is on the call. Our final speaker today is Reema Nanavaty. Reema leads the Self-Employed Women's Association in India and beyond. She has been focusing on expanding the membership of SEVA, which has already reached over 3.2 million members, making it the single largest union of informal sector women workers in the world. Reema facilitated rebuilding lives and livelihoods of 60,000 earthquake-affected rural women and 40,000 riot-affected members. She's leading the rehabilitation programs in Afghanistan, training over 5,000 Afghani women in different livelihood skills, and facilitating them in setting up their own local association. Similarly, she has also led the rehabilitation program for war-affected widows in Sri Lanka, providing over 6,000 women with vocational training in rural livelihood security. She's been spearheading, and this is what's so interesting for us on this call today, SEVA's, not sure how to pronounce it, Reema, but you'll tell us, Swachh Akash Building Cleaner Skies campaign, where 3.2 million women lead climate action. SEVA's members are setting up their own energy initiative called Hari Yali, which works on building green villages, setting up mini grids run by women themselves. Thereby, women become not just the recipients or users of energy, but also producers, managers, and distributors of clean and green energy. Reema, you're so welcome, and here the floor is yours.
Namaste. Thank you so much. And you did an excellent pronunciation of Swachha Akash. And I'm so glad that we are talking about it today as well, when the need of the whole world is for building cleaner and better life on this earth. So thank you so much. And I'll just stick to the time of 10 minutes. I'm going to talk about, out of the 3.2 million women, the most poorest of the poor were the salt pan workers. Who produce salt under very harsh climate conditions, living in the desert, which is known as the Little Run of Kutch. And as we all know, that life in the desert is lonely and hard. The salt pan workers survive on very little food and water because everything has to be carried on their backs to the remote desert camps. Their daily diet for the 8 months in which they produce salt in the desert is a millet bread eaten with a paste of garlic and chili, and it is washed down with some black tea. Fresh water is available only once a week. Therefore, malnutrition, night blindness, anemia, hypertension, and kidney stones are common diseases amongst the salt pan workers because of their sustained exposure to high salinity and dehydration. Sadly, when a salt pan worker dies, her feet do not burn easily because of the dense salt deposits in their bones. I'm sharing all this because, you can picture how harsh the living and working conditions are. Therefore, these salt pan workers are at the lowest end of the supply chain. They are only able to make minimal income due to the high operating costs and low bargaining power against the middlemen to whom they are entrenched. Therefore, the challenge ahead of us at SEVA was that how do you reduce the operating costs by eliminating diesel power for water lift pumps used in salt production by solar power. And this can have a transformative impact on the livelihoods and opportunities to improve health and nutrition and education. Let me show you a 2-minute video which will take you to the desert and see what a tremendous effect this had. Can we show the video, please?
મારું નામ જમનાબેન હે અને હું મીઠા કામદાર હોઉં. મીઠું અમારા બાપ દાદાનો ધંધો હે. ઈ જ અમારી આવરત અને ઈ જ અમારી રોજગારી. અમે રાત દી મજૂરી કરવી, તડકો સાયો જોયા વગર, તારે મીઠું તમારે અહીંયા પોકે. ગળા પગે દંતારો ખેંચવાનું થાય ને એટલે લાકડી પગ ભરતા. અમે બધાયના સુવદનો ખ્યાલ રાખી, બરાબર, પણ અમારો કોણ રાખે? છે ને ડીઝલમાં શું હોય કે ચાલુ કરતા કરતા આપી જાય, રાત દી ધમાડા કાઢે અને પતી જાય તો રણની બહાર લેવા જવું પડે. એ તો અમારા હારા નસીબ તે સેવાએ હાથ જાયલો. એને અમારી ચિંતાએ કરી અને એને મદદે કરી. તો સેવાના કારણે હું આ સોલર પંપ લઈ આવી. આમાં તો કશું નહીં, ચા પાડી પાટા ભર્યા કરે. સોલર આયા ને પછી મારે મફતનો એક પાટો પાકે અત્યારે મેં 2 સોલર અહીંયા ઉતાર્યા છે મારે ઠામ કોઈ ડીઝલ નહીં એ મફતનો પાટો પાકે એમને 2 સોલર મૂક્યા છે એ ટેસ્ટથી પાટો પકી જાય અમારી મૂડીએ વધી અને રણમાં રહેવાની શાંતિ થઈ ગઈ સાચું કહું આ ડીઝલિયો કોઈને ગમતો જ નહીં ખરેખર સાચું હોય તો મારો સોનાનો સુરત છે
So I think as you all watched that, for a salt pan worker to switch over from a diesel engine to a solar pump was, extremely capital intensive. And therefore, SEWA developed an innovative blended finance structure in partnership with the International Finance Corporation and with the public sector banks of India. And one of our partners, NRDC, is here, who also partnered with us in working out the entire cost benefit analysis. So as a result, we provided operational support to help these farmers acquire and install the solar equipment and train them in the use and maintenance. From 10 salt pan workers, today some 7,000 salt pan workers have switched over to solar pumps. But machines can work miracles, but they can also break down. And therefore, the salt pan workers themselves realized that, they have to, there with so many active pumps, they desperately needed some solar technicians. So today, the young daughters of these salt pan workers, can we show the slide of the solar park, have been trained into green skills and they have set up their green schools. They are actively introducing green technology to the farms and villages also in their districts. These salt pan workers have now set up in the off season, instead of putting the panels in a warehouse, have set up a 2.7 megawatt solar park. And this is providing them an additional source of revenue. So I think the lesson that some of the outcomes where this program was received with tremendous enthusiasm, and the government has also come forward. One of the key lessons is that blended finance is a powerful instrument. Its key contribution is overcoming risk perceptions about underserved poor households. It gives the poor households a fair chance to prove themselves, something that has been denied to them for too far long time. It serves to address a fundamental inequity of the global financial system. The poorest have to pay the highest interest rates and face the most difficult credit terms. And so therefore, what we are doing is that we are setting up a global climate resilience fund for women, which will support not just the poor women in India, but also in South Asia and in other parts of the globe as well. The key lesson from our experience has been that if we work together, we can make a big difference to the lives of the self-respecting, hardworking, and determined women around the world by helping them with the most important thing they need, and that is a fair chance. Thank you so much. I was dot on time, Jean.
You're right on time, Reema. And you gave us a wonderful flavor of the life in the salt pans and the innovation that you've introduced. And it was my privilege, in fact, to see the work up there just at the start of this transition to solar power. And it's amazing to see what's been accomplished. Thank you so much for this inspiring contribution. Well, and please, Reema, if you wouldn't mind putting contact information into for this work into the chat so others can be in touch with you and your colleagues, that would be great. Great. So now our time is tight and we've had very rich presentations. We're going to tighten our time for the breakout rooms to just 20 minutes so that we can keep honor our overall time commitment to you. And Florine is going to explain about getting us into the breakout rooms. Florine.
Yes, thank you. Hi, everyone. So I will start the breakout rooms automatically. We will have 4 breakout rooms. And we've made that so each speakers plus Jean will lead the discussion in one of the breakout rooms. If they are not there right away when you start the breakout room, they will join a few seconds later. If you have any issues about the breakout rooms, you can come back to the main room and I will try to fix this for you. We have 4 questions for the breakout room. I will also send them in the chat. But as we've shortened the time, we will ask you to focus on the second question, please. After, when we come back into plenary, one person from each group will present the main discussion points and case studies from their conversation. I will start the breakout rooms now.
And you will be automatically assigned to a group. So just sit tight.
Yes. Hi, welcome or welcome back. We're currently in breakout room sessions. Do you need any help joining your breakout room?
To create more to showcase more and more of these best practices like we just did, I believe. And already I'm thinking about what can we do, or the organizations I know, what can they do with the Brahma Kumaris or with Seva? And already discussions are ongoing. So the more we see the good work from the region or from each other and collaborate and connect with each other, I think fantastic things will come up. So I think showcasing of best practices and creating awareness and advocacy was definitely one key point that came up. And with that, obviously, everybody, I encourage all of you to remain in touch with each other, and especially with all of us. We've put our LinkedIn contacts or email contacts in the chat box, and feel free to connect and carry this conversation on, because collaborations don't happen over time. And then obviously, number 2, a solid point that came out was the opportunity for engaging the big corporates, the private sector, for just like we did with Lighting a Million Lives, the example that I told you earlier, and that went to scale when Pepsi stepped up and Pepsi said, okay, let's launch a project together, Liter of Light. So I feel private sector collaborations, and we discussed this in our group as well, and our colleagues from Seva completely agreed that in terms of not just building capacities, but in terms of getting trainings, in terms of building capacity and getting funding, private sector collaborations can be very, very handy. So it's more important to have private sector stakeholders in these rooms as well, and get more and more private sector stakeholders involved in these discussions. So I think that came out for sure. And then the third key idea was to engage more and more on the local community end. So not just the women, but the children and the communities, so that collectively the communities can embrace these renewable energy projects. So I think, yes, these were the three key picks from our conversations. Jean, do you want to go on with what key ideas were discussed in your group, if they were any different from these three?
Very complementary ideas. Sister Hortense raised the point that people in Cameroon, where she's originally from, really don't know what to do. I mean, very concerned about climate-related issues, but this awareness raising that you mentioned was certainly a point. Jemima works with HomeNet International and is Kenya-based. It's a global organization of home-based workers. And she expressed an interest in work on renewable energy, and particularly flooding control and sustainable agriculture. Two of our participants talked about waste management, and these are both African participants, and talking about the challenges of waste management in their communities and the need to address that. Edith from Kenya talked about the amazing work that they're doing in recycling, and recycling everything from paper and sawdust and animal waste and so forth. And we heard that they're very keen to have solar power in small, low-income rural communities, but that the limiting factor is resources. We were fortunate to have Charu from NRDC, who's working in Asia and elsewhere with us, who mentioned that they were looking to also support renewable energy in Africa. And we talked with her about some of the funding potential resources for solar power in rural communities. And maybe, Charu, you'd like to just briefly, very quickly summarize your 3 points there for the group.
Yes. So very quickly for everyone, we work very closely with Seva on the Green Villages work, and we started our partnership started almost a decade back on the salt pan work. A few things that quickly come to mind is, one is government subsidies. In India, a lot of government national policies and programs are available that actually support deployment of climate-friendly technologies. The issue is the implementation of these programs and the subsidies, actually reaching the right kind of stakeholders. So one thing that is really helpful is to ensure the right implementation, so that the right kind of beneficiaries are able to receive the government support that's needed. Second thing, something that Seva has been doing for a very, very long time is, and there are a lot of people from Seva on this call that can allude to this, and feel free to add as well. Is aggregating the demand. So Seva has presence in more than 18 states in India. What we usually try to do when we have to deploy a certain technology is to aggregate the demand. That essentially helps us in bringing the cost down. And generally scaling aggregation, whenever we have a bigger scale, the numbers do come down. Third thing that we have tried for one of the technologies, which is biogas, is carbon markets, and how can we leverage carbon markets to essentially bring the price down. We've been successful to bring it down by almost 80%. However, these projects don't always work, and we have, the private sector plays a strong role and a bigger role in this. So I think, how can grassroots organizations really master the use of carbon markets, if I may say so, is something that we are looking at. There are such good examples of work that is being done globally. Fiza, you mentioned some. Seva is doing something. Brahma Kumaris did mention their work. How can people who are actually deploying these technologies earn through carbon markets is something that is yet unexplored, and something that together with Seva, we're also trying to see how the actual people in the villages can benefit from deploying these technologies. I'll stop there.
Thank you so much, Aru. The carbon markets angle is very interesting, and definitely, I think that's the future. Have you had any successful stories to share or examples of deploying the carbon markets?
We do. Actually, I'll request Rehana Ben to share that example because she's on top of it. Over to you, Rehana Ben.
Yeah, we can definitely share that because the solar park or solar pumps which Reema Ben was sharing, over there also we have worked on how can the members get the carbon credit out of it. And as for the biodigesters as well, we have been working with the private sector or say vendors wherein and this is all because of the collective strength what we have amongst the members, so that we were able to negotiate with the price of the biodigester that would go down. That is the advanced carbon credit amount which we have received, and so the community members would get the biodigester for a lower price. So this are few of them, and we are further working for other technology and equipments as well, renewable energy equipments as well. So we have a couple of cases wherein the carbon credit has worked out in the favor of the community members.
Okay, interesting, very interesting. Mansi Shah, I see your hand is raised. Do you want to step in?
Thank you. Yeah, thank you so much, Fiza. And I'm really sorry. I have a little low bandwidth, so I'm not able to turn on my camera. But I just wanted to add. I work with Seva and our members. So I just wanted to add one more point to what Charuben just mentioned. Along with aggregating the demand and piloting new technologies, bringing new technologies to the grassroots women, and also, as Reema said, facilitating through innovative financing solutions. One additional thing which also is important to consider is that because solar technology and the green technology is very new, and especially when you are deploying this technology in the rural areas and the interiors of the country, it is very difficult to upkeep these appliances. Repairs, maintenance, and all these aspects also need a lot of consideration. And that is why, and it is also an opportunity. At Seva, we always look at every challenge as an opportunity, and therefore we've launched green skilling initiative. Again, Rehana Ben would be able to share much more details on this as she leads this whole program. But where we are training young rural women, daughters and daughter-in-laws of our members as green technicians, solar PV technicians, so that they themselves can, offer this repair and maintenance service to the rural households who are adopting this green technology. And in the process, they can also earn a decent, dignified and green livelihood opportunity. So maybe Rehana Ben, if you want to add something to this, this was my point. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Mansi. Rehana, would you like to add anything to what Mansi just said with the Seva initiative on green scaling?
Yeah, definitely. Like as she mentioned, we have been working on. It's also how do we bring in the understand the needs of the community members, and at the same time collectively how do we negotiate or bring in the affordable and accessibility to the green energy solutions at the doorstep of the community members, and at the same time how do we make the ecosystem which is more sustainable. So if the repairs and maintenance is also, where do I go if my solar pump is not working or if my solar lantern is not working? So it's making the ecosystem sustainable, wherein all the like the members doesn't have to go out and search for the repairs and maintenance, but then it would make it sustainable, and then at the same time the newer kind of livelihood opportunities would also be generated for the young generation members. or say the young generation members of Seva. So this is how it works. So we have our members who are trained as solar PV technicians and solar PV helpers who are also into the rooftop installation, who are repairing the solar pumps, who are also into the biodigester, seeing what are the problems and resolving the same and so on. So the hands-on trainings have been given to the members and they are the ones who are taking forward, and at the same time they earn their livelihoods as well. And with this, I will also uh, go with our breakout room, which the points which has come out
Yes,
of a
please.
breakout room. So we were in breakout room number 2, and what we discussed was there are opportunities in providing services for the local communities and who are in need of it. But then at the same time, there are also resource organizations who can be working for the members at the community level. And the 3 speakers which were there on the board have showcased a very good examples. So there is a need for having a knowledge sharing platform, and this knowledge sharing platform, it is better if it is in-person visits also. So the exposure and dialogue program, what the members from one community can come and see what are the initiatives that has been taken by the similar members, similar community members, and then they could learn from that and then further take it to how to bring in community-led solutions through that. So this was also one of the major thing which we have discussed. And then another thing was all these solutions which we are working with the community members doesn't just bring the technologies of the community, but then at the same time it very well works in an integrated manner so that the woman empowerment is also there. So this was also one of the basic thing which we discussed. And like Leslie from Ireland has also mentioned that it's very important that the community members in the country also understand that while we need to move forward, what should we be having, and these are the solutions which should be taken forward. And lastly, there's a need for that this network would go extend to everybody and everyone, and not just limit to the English speaking persons, but then it should also be, the language barrier should also be broken up, and in various local languages also this should be done. So this is what the major discussions we have done in our group. Sorry, Devesh, do you want to say something?
Yes. Devesh, do you want to step in?
To
Yeah,
add
thank
that.
you. Oh,
Sure.
sorry.
Go ahead.
I'm really
Certainly.
sorry. Again, I didn't want to interrupt your talk. One more thing that I am seeing is that, circling back to the original, I would say, topic where we said that faith and climate and the change that comes out of that.
Yeah.
Now, just applying little bit of my imagination on what our founder Elabain mentioned in the book Anubandh, as in what is the relation, what is the contract we are having with the nature around us. So I think somewhere in that faith that whatever has happened, but now we need to change that and bring that element of faith, but at the same time bring in this angle of climate and take it forward. So, okay, so this was a very high level motherhood statement. But at a ground level, what I mean by that is that how do we create awareness at the grassroots level? How do we create the understanding that while the problem would have been created wherever in the world, it doesn't matter. It is we who have to now sort it out.
Correct.
How do we have people understand that yes, there are solutions to this problem. So I think there is major amount of our energy should go in making people realize that, yes, definitely there is a problem. Indeed, there is a problem. However, it needs to, but there is a solution to it.
Yeah.
And those solutions are climate friendly solution, and these are the solution. And once people get into that mode, it can happen. Uh, I can quote another example also, but I don't want to take everybody's time right now. I can offline also discuss this. As a part of climate school, I'm doing this awareness at our grassroots level, and I'm seeing the transformation in the people. Right? I'm seeing that people have started, though they started that, this climate change is because of a wrath of God, that, God is angry with us. That's why he's doing all these things. From that
Yeah.
point to now, they are comfortable in telling that, no, it is carbon dioxide and methane which is creating the problem. I've seen that transformation. Now, when they do the transformation, they also know, they will ask, okay, how do we do it without impacting our life and livelihood? Of course, let's get into biogas. The methane that is coming out of the cow dung, let's use it for cooking. It'll make your kitchen clean, it'll make your lungs clean. At the same time, it'll ensure the global warming is coming down. And that, so I think that awareness is the first step that will bring all the people together, the community together, that yes, there is indeed a common problem and let's sort it together. And there is a tremendous power in collectiveness. I mean,
Absolutely.
after spending so much time in Seva, I have no second opinion about it. And whatever done collectively, it will work out. I mean,
100%
of course,
agree.
yeah. But the only key is that making everybody realize by doing this, aggressive awareness. By aggressive, I mean intense, not in any other way. The awareness where people start understanding, believing that yes, there is a problem, but we are the solution. We can participate in creating the solution. And that's where I think I liked when I was registering, I liked the word faith, women of faith and climate change. So,
Thank you so much, Devesh.
so we should not leave that particular topic unspoken. Sorry about yeah. Sorry for taking a long time. Yeah.
Fiza, I'm hoping we'll have a chance to hear from Aneta before we end up from the Brahma.
Yes, I know, because I'm just very of the time. Aneta, do you want to share the key points from the discussions in your group, please?
Yes, thank you so much. We had very good discussion. Thank you for that. I can echo everything what you have said, basically. So just maybe to highlight, we spoke about effective partnership, because there are so many people doing so many things, but with whom to partner. So we said it's really important to get to know each other. So how do we get to know each other so that we know that our vision is coherent and it's aligned, and that also on practical level that we can work together. So then we spoke that it would be really good to continue this kind of conversations via Zoom, but of course in person. And especially those of us who are based in India, we probably can meet somewhere in Rajasthan, Gujarat. We spoke about it, so that can be followed up. Then, of course, all this skill development, technical, but maybe I could also focus on leadership development. So I think because it is still such a new area and it requires a lot of competences, but also inner competences, maybe we can think about some leadership program for young women, but not only for young, also focusing on developing the inner resources. And then, of course, the campaigns. We have heard so many wonderful campaigns. And I think all of us, we have different ways to reach different people in grassroots, in rural communities. So I think this is kind of low-hanging fruit that we could use these campaigns and replicate them in our, let's say, networks in a partnership with those who developed those campaigns. And of course, keep sharing the best practices, technical, but also financial. And we spoke about it, so this is very fine. And we also spoke about creating awareness and learning from each other about a bigger picture, like climate change. So different ways of mitigation, adaptation, creating resilience in communities. So that also includes sustainable agriculture and any other ways that we can become more resilient in this climate change crisis. So yeah, maybe in short, because the time is up, I think this is something what I would like to highlight on top what you all have said. Thank you.
Thank you, Aneta. Sorry to interrupt, Fiza, but Aneta, would you please again put your contact information in, so if people are interested in meeting in person in India, they can know how to get in touch with you. I asked for people to say that in the chat if they're interested in meeting in person in India. Thank you. Yeah. So
Excellent.
1 minute, Fiza, and then I'll
I
wrap up if
know.
that's okay.
That's perfectly okay. I think we have 2 hands that are raised up, and I would just like to, in very quick, maybe 30 seconds, if you could share any burning radical collaboration you have in mind. I'm sorry, that's too little time, but that's all we have. So, yes, would you like to go forward?
No, me, I just wanted to add something to our group sharing
Yes.
about this technology, especially when you come to the solar. The training is given, but today we know that with everything, it has a lifespan. When it can no longer be repaired, what happens? So we need to already have a foresight. How are we going to recycle it in a way that it doesn't become a pollutant in the environment, like the solar panels, the solar batteries? I think this we have to take into consideration. Otherwise, we might have another problem. Thanks.
Very good.
Great. And Hina, you have your hand raised up. Just quickly, if we can hear from you before we'll pass it on to Jean to wrap up this amazing conversation.
Namaste. Sorry, I am not speak English. I am speaking local language. So Mansiben is translate.
Sure, Hinaben.
जो मानसी बहन रेहाना बहन और देवेश भाई ने बताया, तो हम सेवा में स्वच्छ आकाश अभियान चला रहे हैं, जिसके द्वारा हम ये संकलित अभिगम पूरा इंटीग्रेटेड अप्रोच से काम कर रहे हैं। अगर इसी तरह से हम लोग आगे पूरा जो क्लाइमेट बदल रहा है उसमें असंगठित कामदार बहनों का जो लाइवलीहुड सस्टेन करना है, तो हमें ये सब क्लाइमेट एक्शन को एक्सीलेटर अगर हम संकलित अभिगम से करें तो उसको हम क्लाइमेट एक्शन को एक्सीलेटर कर सकते हैं। तो हमारा पूरा 2022 से लेके पूरा हमारा ये अभियान चल रहा है कि हम क्लीन स्काई के द्वारा ये सब काम करें। मानसी बहन।
Thank you, Hina Ben. Sorry, just very quickly, I'll translate for Hina Ben. So what Hina Ben was saying is that the various initiatives that I and Rehana Ben and Devesh and of course Reema Ben's presentation about the various initiatives in context of climate action that we have shared. At SEVA, we are taking it, we have taken a holistic approach. So all these different initiatives are part of our Building Cleaner Skies campaign, a larger campaign that we have launched in 2022. And so taking the learnings of this campaign, it is very important. What she wants to say is that organizing is the key. And if we want to bring voice and visibility and scale up the women-led climate action, there is a need to scale the Building Cleaner Skies campaign globally, regionally, nationally, everywhere, so that women of all faith can progress in the renewable energy sector and accelerate climate action. Thank you.
Fantastic.
Thank you so much.
I think definitely, yes, and it would be great to have more details about this initiative, Mansi.
Definitely. I'll share a link with the report, a 2-year report, a 1-year, first-year report of the Building Cleaner Skies campaign. Is it okay, Jean, if I share it with you and Fiza Ben in email, and then you can share it with everyone? Because it's a little heavy and it's not on the website yet. So if it's okay, I can share it in email, and then maybe you can share it with everyone.
Absolutely. Correct, Jean?
I'll do that.
That's perfect. That's perfect. Thank you, Mansi. And that leads me just to thank you so much. Thank you, everybody. Unfortunately, we do have to end this wonderful conversation, which is really just the beginning of hundreds of conversations, probably. Very, very rich. We'd like to thank, on behalf of everybody on this workshop, I'd like to thank our three wonderful speakers. I'd like to thank Fiza, I'd like to thank Aneta, and I'd like to thank Reema and their organizations for the wonderful work they're doing and the inspiration that they're giving us for the possibility of adapting and scaling up and partnering with them on their good work. So I just encourage you that there's lots of exchange, a lot of information has been exchanged here in terms of contacts. I encourage you to go directly, don't be shy, go directly to the people who've spoken and see about connecting with them directly. I know that there's a possible interest in meeting in India. If you'd like to just express specifically an interest in that would be wonderful. This meeting has been recorded. The plenary sessions of the meeting have been recorded, and that recording will be available on the website. If you wouldn't mind, there, Florine already put it in the Women, Faith and Climate website. The link to it is in the chat. There will also be a report summarizing not just the presentations, but also many of the excellent ideas for further collaboration, and the slide presentations and the video and some of the toolkits and guidebooks, whatever that we receive, will be placed on the website. I'd also draw your attention, because other areas of climate activity have been discussed here, I would draw your attention to the reports for the two preceding workshops, one on sustainable agriculture and one on eco champs, which are already available on the Women, Faith and Climate Network website. And please do, if you haven't already joined WFCN as a member, you'll see on the website there's a place to sign up, and that way we can keep you in touch with information about the next collaboration workshops and so on. So I just would like to close by celebrating this particular form of radical collaboration online. It's just amazing what we can do to meet each other, to encounter each other, to learn from each other, even online in this remote way. And I'm hoping that we'll be able to translate this into practical action that will take us further, faster on climate change. Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Thank you, Jean.
And thank you, Florine, for keeping us going. Thank you, Florine.
Thank you, Jean. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Fiza.
everyone.
Thank you.
Let's stay in
Bye.
touch for sure.